Perfect. Awesome. So thank you everyone for joining us today. We have two really cool project ideas and demos to show you. You might have read a bit about them in the Commit News channel. So yeah, feeling pretty excited. So we have our new EPs who just joined us last week, Daman and SP. They're going to be the ones presenting today. For anyone who's joined one of these calls before, that the main goal of the hop and the project is really to learn something new, have the space to kind of experiment, maybe try out working with some new technology you haven't worked with in the past. It's really more about the process, less about having a fully fleshed out, completed project at this point. Yeah, and for our presenters, like everyone on the call is super welcoming and we're a supportive bunch. We're definitely here to cheer you on as you go on. And yeah, for our viewers, feel free to throw any encouraging words in the chat as we go. There'll also be some time for questions after each of our presenters shares with us. So with that, let's bring up our first presenter, Doman. If you want to, share your screen or what have you, we look forward to seeing your project.
Yeah,
take it away.
Definitely. I'll share my screen. Let me know when you guys can see the screen. And all right, can you guys see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, great. All right, so basically I will take a flow of explaining the problem first, what the problem is, what we're trying to solve, and then go with the demo and then take the questions and share my experience through the week of experience I have in this project. So the problem we're trying to solve here is basically when a developer is working on something, the minimum distraction it will have is to move away from the developing environment, which is the code editor we have. So what happened is I have a habit to basically log my work on a pen and a paper, like basically a notebook I do. But people have other ideas and other tools they use to log their work, to save some information for future or anything they learned, or etc. So the point here is to keep everything as easy and as quick as possible, so they're not distracted away from the developing environment. So this extension, what allows you to do, and now we are taking using a commit project infrastructure that we have on our commits website, is that what we're going to use to manage that using our extension. Again, it's a POC, it's a proof of concept, and it's in very early stage, just to make a point that is it something that developers will use, right? Just to make sure that it's useful. So I'll go through the demo and then I'll take the questions after that. So in order to use it, it'll be an open source project. So just go to the repository of the project, go to the releases, download the latest one, download it. It's just one file, so just download it. Now, once downloaded, you have to install it to your code extension. So I will go here, download, don't worry about it. So I'll go here, code, install, and I will just give the name of the extension. Once it's been installed, I will open up my editor here. Can you guys see this? Yes. Okay. So now, in order to use again, as I mentioned, that we are using this extension, we are managing commits project. So we have to authenticate ourselves against the commits API. So you click on this user right, and you can see I've been already have sections against GitHub and GitLens extension. So in order to use it, we have to sign in, right? So let me just close this guy, move it out. So once you sign in, it will automatically generate a one-time password for you. If you see it in this corner, you can copy the password or remember it the way you want it. Once you copied it, it will prompt you to open a web page. Web page is where you actually log in to commit. You will use your commits credential. So once you open it, you will enter your one-time password. I will paste it here, continue, and then confirm. Once confirmed, I have to log in. These are my credentials, continue. Once I'm logged in, go back to my extension. It will sign me basically in. You will see, hey, welcome Daman to the commit. Now I've been signed in. Now I can use the extension features. So I have, for this prototype, I have two features. One is a display feature, one is the active functionality feature. So the one that we started with is to just add comments to updates to our commits project. So let me log in to show you what projects I have already. So log in, it will log me in because I'm already in there. Project. You will see these are my dummy projects 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm not good with names, so just ignore the titles and everything. So in order to basically launch the feature, you have a keyboard shortcut to run the commands that you want. Right now we have 2 commands: view projects and add project updates. So I want to go with the add project first. So basically I want to add the update to a given project. Then it will pull the projects from the database. It will pull the projects that are basically that belongs to me. I will just say, hey, I want to add a comment to this second thing project called second thing project. God, for some reason it's not going away. Okay, anyways, so underneath you can see enter the updates of your project. I will say, hey, from demo, and I press enter. You will see a success message on the corner. And if I go to second thing project, you will see, hey, from demo right here. So this is the way of adding. Now, this is a proof of concept that we can do this. Now, if the API that we're using to communicate between commits database or commits data source allows us to do other things like adding, changing descriptions, liking a project, following a project, other projects, adding a comment, those all can be implemented as a set of commands like this. Now, that's one feature. Sorry, I'll just move it down a bit. So the other feature is the other direction we can take is basically replicate this UI we have for the project into our code editor right away. So for that, we have this view project command. When we run, it will open up a window for us where it will pull my projects. Now, again, it's a proof of concept. So basically I'm just pulling the current projects and showing some information related to that project. Now it can be anything. I can have a field here where I will have, say, hey, type in the new update and then have a button called submit update. And they will add that update to that given project and stuff like that. So we can refresh a project. Oh, sorry for that. So once I refresh the project, you will see it's been actually fetching the project from the database. Now, if I create a new project, test again, sorry about that, and then commit TBD, whatever. So then when I post it, let me just refresh this guy. I'll have test again. Now, if I refresh, you will see the new project. It's been all I'm trying to show is it's been communicating with our API and pulling the fresh information. You can consider this as a web page inside your development environment. So that's the 2 directions we can go. Now, as I mentioned, when I do command and have a command called add project, I can have other commands called add a new project, update a project, delete a project, or mark a project complete, and stuff like that. That will, we can have a whole bunch of commands. For example, if I go for Git commands, you can see all these commands for Git extension that my environment already have. So we can have a whole bunch of these commands to manage our entire project from Visual Studio Code. Now, that's the current demo of this POC. Now, I will share some challenges that I've basically faced. The first challenge was, this was very new to me. It was the first time thingy that I did. So the one thing, the code enthusiasts, please don't catch me or beat me on this. The code structure is not optimal at this point. It's one of the features that I want to make sure that if you go through the README, we have what things we got to do in the future. One of the thing is we have to structure the code properly, make sure it's extendable, it follow the solid principles and stuff like that. There's no test coverage at the moment. And the CI/CD is very basic. So whenever I made a new change, I push it, I add a tag that marks the start of the pipeline, and it will basically deploy, deploy a new release here. So it will deploy a new release, and then you can download the updated version from there. Now, that's that. One thing that was very interesting during this entire learning process was how, like, if you understand this, this is an HTML code. So basically, I don't want to go too technical, but the communication between this page and my extension code, which actually, the code that actually does what it needs to, like fetch the projects and stuff like that, is based on a messaging system, which was very smart, and I really like it. So the sky's the limit. You can do a lot of things. One thing we want to also implement here is the GitHub integration, where our code actually sits. For example, if I'm working on this project, I want to integrate and pull some features like, hey, this feature is very important as well. What type of code is in my repository? So information is like this. So probably information is about release. Like, again, once we have the integration, we can pull this information and have a display mode in here stating some information like, hey, you have 30% TypeScript, 10% HTML, and so on and so forth. So again, those integrations needs to be. And once you're done, if you want to work on something private, you think you don't want to, have any online presence, you can just sign out of your project. And if I just try and rerun the same command, say add project, it will say, hey, you need to sign into commit. So it won't allow you to do it. So that's it. Any questions?
Nice job. Awesome. Loved that.
I've got a quick question.
Please.
Is it possible to sync my GitHub commit history? Say anytime I do a commit and I push.
Again, as I mentioned, that once we have that integration in place, right now, if you see on the oh, sorry, I stopped sharing, but let me share again. Sorry about that. Share. Okay, so if you see at the corner here, my GitHub has already been authenticated. Now we can go different flows that, hey, once you're already authenticated to GitHub, I have access to your GitHub information for that project, or in general, what are the repositories you have. So yes, we can pull it. There is, I already mentioned in the resources, there's a GitHub API that's been offered by VS Code that we can use to pull in the information like credentials and then repo information, and we can also launch actions. So basically, if you basically make a change to source code, you can also programmatically execute those actions using this API here. And now also, oh my God, sorry about that. So yeah, does that answer your question, SP?
Yeah, sure it does. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there is a way we can integrate GitHub and pull the information like commit history and everything.
I love it when questions are really actually just votes for the next thing.
Yeah, that was a great demo, Daman. And for some context for people, Bear and I gave Daman sort of a general sort of idea, and which he sort of did perfectly. And aside from that, I gave him, I created a Auth0 application and gave him the client ID, gave him our GraphQL schema, and he just ran with it and figured it all out. He did an amazing job.
I was gonna do the acknowledgements, but thank you. Sorry. The Bill and Andrew and Barry actually helped me a lot. Bill actually helped me a lot to understand, because there was a challenge for me. Well, I worked with GraphQL before, but it wasn't refreshed. So Bill, actually, you were very prompted on answering all the questions I have and helping out, giving me examples and stuff like that. So thank you very much. A shout out for that. And Andrew had a run with for a demo run with him yesterday, presented him the idea. He invited me how to actually demo. He told me some tips how to format the demo, and I know he's not in the meeting because he told me that he couldn't make it. So that's that. And thank you very much to Greg for having all the conversation on the project. Thank you very much.
Spamming you?
No, it's not spam. Just want to know the production project pages are broken. The text is just running out straight. It's not wrapping.
Okay.
So yes.
We'll log that.
Yes.
David's on it.
Thanks to Janelle and thanks for Rick as well. I want to say Rick, he
I asked
a couple of questions regarding project structure. I wanted to implement this. I didn't have time for that, but thanks, Rick, for all the resources. I haven't reviewed them all together yet. But
yeah, no worries.
Definitely. Thank
Anytime. I have a question. So this looks like it's
please.
All coded in TypeScript?
Yes, it is TypeScript.
Nice.
Yes.
I think JetBrains extensions are also coded in like TypeScript/JavaScript.
So we can definitely reuse some of the.
So I wonder if there's a way to port it over to
I'll
JetBrains as well.
I'll definitely add that one of the features to explore that direction as well. If JetBrains can be added to the extension list as well. And I'm not sure if JetBrains allows you to build and distribute locally, because this extension is not going to go in the marketplace. It's commit only extension.
Right.
So that's why you have to go to the GitHub repository and download from there. But anyways, that's a good point to research.
There is a way, similar to the way you installed this, there is a way for JetBrains to install directly from a local file. So I probably, that's probably the same method.
Awesome.
Can I have 1 minute? I have 1 minute because I'm being very excited by this. The big picture for me on what this sort of initiative represents is like fundamentally equaling out a playing field between employers and employees. Toby from Shopify talks about it as a trust battery. When you join Shopify, your trust battery is at 50%. Sure. And it's like you can either charge it up by doing things to build trust, or you can bring it down by doing things. And so, but it's like, it's not a standardized battery yet. That trust battery at Shopify is not interoperable with the trust battery at Amazon or at Commit or whatever. Like every company's got, it's like, we have no standardization. So if there's a way to be able to log the work you've done in a trusted way and represent it, it increases the fluidity of talent. That like the going from one place to another, the hurdle becomes lower, right? Because if you can actually kind of have this like really trusted record of your work that has some validity to it, and it's like constantly updating and journaling and proving the stuff that you've done, you don't have to keep on proving yourself every time you go to a new place to build stuff. And that is a huge benefit on a human level. But if we can actually increase the fluidity of people between organizations and make it more interoperable, we can actually at a very level, like increase the amount of innovation in the world, because people won't just be stuck at jobs because it's too painful to go and find the place that they can really contribute to. They stay at a job because it's just too painful to change. And so I know it's a little thing, but like working on projects like this that give more, like this is all data that companies are collecting on you anyways. And then when you leave the company, you don't have, it's a traumatic incident. You don't have access to that anymore. And like the company doesn't really do anything with that data. So freeing that up so that the individual can bring that over and apply it to other things and apply it to new opportunities is just a huge purposeful initiative. And I'm stoked that you started tackling it in a small way.
Thank you. No, that's great. Thank you very much. And sorry, I don't have any presentation slides or anything. I just wanted to explain the problem by myself.
Slides are not required.
Thank you.
You crushed it. I love it. If people have other questions or comments, definitely head over to the platform and comment on the project there too. Keep us posted to Daman on any updates that are happening. We'll be excited to hear about those too. Maybe at a future hop as well, you can give us another demo.
Definitely another one. I'm gonna keep working on this. If there's nothing else popped up from Phil or anybody else.
We'll keep you busy. Don't worry about that. Awesome. We'll definitely want to leave some time too to have our next presenter share their project. So we have SP presenting on their hot project. I know Rick had a sneak peek as well. So I'm pretty excited to see. Yeah, he's given the thumbs up. He's like, this was great. So yeah, SP, don't keep us in suspense for too long. Let us know what you've been up to when you're ready.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. So I'm on a new machine. It's my Linux machine. The Wi-Fi card is a bit down, so you'd hear me cutting out a bit. So I might go off and on once in a while. But I just want to say thank you all for coming to this demo. So I hope 8 minutes is enough to do justice to what I have. So I'm going to set a timer here. right away, and I'm going to share my screen. So this is not an idea that will change the world. It's just a simple project, but I'll try as much as possible to give it my best. So this is called WriteOnce, pipe anywhere. Pretty much, what is WriteOnce? WriteOnce is a template management system. Content management system. It's a template management system. So what's the problem here? So one of the problems, especially big organizations face, is there's always this inconsistency in document and styles. Inability to enforce compliance with regards to different things. For instance, how do we ensure our social media posts is all the same? How do we ensure marketing emails are all the same? How do we ensure email signatures are all the same and up to? There's also things like lack of governance, auditability, versioning, and collaboration. When you think about data, especially content in an organization, most time, like a bulk of that data usually can be turned into templates, and the variant parts that needs to change can be automated. As developers, it's easy for most developers to do this. Some developers are lazy enough that they might not do that and just find and replace. But for non-technical people, they might go through copying and pasting and trying to change. Oh, I have a Slack message for this employee. I'm just going to change this. Can I generate reports just by changing a few things and then sending it over as an email or as a Slack post at the same time? There are a lot of problems when it comes to organization content and being able to govern, audit, version, and automate most of those parts. That's where a template management system comes in. So there are existing solutions to this problem. Here are some of the big players. But the thing is that there aren't any open source solution. Even though they're more tailored towards developers and not non-technical people. So the advantage of a template management system for technical and non-technical people alike is one, you don't have to worry about document creation. If a document is a template, whether it's a welcome message, whatever message, an exit message, whatever kind of message, you don't have to create a new document or new content every time. You just have to change the variables and then you could generate new content. The cool thing about it is also it's easy to find, share, reuse, govern, audit. You could say, hey, this is a number of times this message has been sent, this is a version and all of that. It also enables brand consistency. If you think about social media posts, like if you make it a template and give people the tools to change the variant part by themselves without reaching out to the designer, people trust brands that are consistent a lot more. So WriteOnce pipe anywhere just what this does is it lets you write a template, and then you add the variant parts to the templates as placeholders, and then you could pipe the results to anywhere, literally anywhere. So WriteOnce is open source. It's not behind a paywall. I only have 4 minutes. It's not behind a paywall. It has an easy to use web UI, API, SDKs, and command line too. 7 days is a lot to build this. I'm just joking. It's not a lot. But ideally, in an ideal world, it's going to have a web UI, an API, an SDK, and a command line too. There are also pipes, which is one of the most interesting thing about WriteOnce is there are pipes for redirecting it's to another output. And we're going to see this in practice. It's community driven, meaning you can share templates and pipes, and it's also cloud-based. This is high-level architecture. I'll not go too deep into this, but I'll touch on a few points. So you can see here I have different PowerPoints, even source code or XML, all saved on the cloud. We use LakeFS for versioning. Neo4j to store the graph structure if you're creating a project that had several folders. And you can see here that there are SDKs available, and I could take like a template and pipe it into Slack, as we're going to see, Twitter, Canva, Twilio. Like you could build pipes to do different things. And it's time for the demo. So just stay tuned and see. I pray that the demo gods are with me today. So let's say a prayer to the demo god. So I have right here the application written in Go, and I have a bunch of pipes. So pipes are a way to redirect outputs. I have a bunch of pipes. I have one here written in Rust. It's just an echo pipe. I have another pipe here written in Node.js, and I have another pipe here written in Go as well. And what I'm going to do is go to Postman, and we're going to create an employee welcome message. So here I have a template. Hello. So I want you guys to go. There's a channel called WriteOnce demo. If you can go to that channel. Or you don't have to join the channel. You can just keep an eye on the channel. So there's a channel called WriteOnce demo, and I've done some setup here. So now I've created a template. Here's a template. I'm going to create this template. Let me just give it a name. And here's the body of the template. You can see here that the variant paths have been set. So these are the variant paths. So you usually see this in most organizations where there's a consistent format in the welcome message. And here's going to be, this is that example here where, I could, if I leave the company tomorrow, another employee could just use this format. And, it's a new version. They could change a few things. And everyone just have one place to go find consistent formatting. So I have a template here. I'm just going to create the templates. The template has been created. This is success. And the thing I get here is the placeholders in the template. So new employee, Slack ID, company name, and all those stuff. And then the next thing is I'm going to create a pipe. I'm going to generate this is an example. So I have a template ID that was just created. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to use that to just generate a text. And you can see here that all I did was just generate a text, nothing else, nothing how I just generated a text out of that template. What I could do is I could pipe this output to somewhere else. And in this case, I have a bunch of pipes that have been written in a bunch of languages, but here are the pipes that we have. We have a pipe for, sorry guys, I'll be quick. We have a pipe for echoing and outputs. We have a pipe for posting to Slack. We have a pipe to upload to PDF, upload PDF to Slack. So, and then pipe this output somewhere to Slack this time. So I will change this value. And you can see here, for the sake of this demo, I have populated the values in the templates, right? The placeholders in the template with values. I'll go ahead and just create this. And one thing you would notice right away is, here's the message from the templates, right? All I do, now, again, this might not, for non-technical users on the call, this might not, again, I as a developer, this is intuitive, but for non-technical users, imagine a form where the only thing you have to do is just fill out a few fields, and then you could get that message. So this is an example of that where, so someone could just reuse this template and you don't have to do the same thing over and over again. And here's another example where I, create I'll create a new template for a report. And you can see here, hello there. And this is, the cool thing about WriteOnce is that it supports mostly text formats for now. So here's an HTML text that I want to send to Slack as PDF, but it's a template. So, hey, hello customer name, please find sales reports for dates, If I'll just, create this. Yeah, and I'll take the new template that was just created. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to run a pipeline to send that template to Slack as PDF. So you can see here, I have the names, the variables, and the templates. Again, as a non-technical user, just imagine a form on the web UI to change only those values. And here I have a pipeline that just upload the PDF to Slack. So go ahead and send that. Hopefully, yep, here we go. So you can see that the template that was generated, here got past this PDF, and I took a plain text, changed only the variant paths, and I was able to pipe that out as PDF, and then redirect that output to Slack. The final example I'm going to demonstrate would run a chain of pipelines. So it's going to run message. The other would send an attachment. And the thing here is there could be pipes or anything. There could be pipe that takes a template, which is like an SVG, and pipe it out to Canva or Instagram, and then still switch that generated image as well. There could be pipe that takes a design from a UX designer and pipe the output to a cloud storage. There could be pipe that anyone could write to do anything. So the final demo I'm going to do here is to run a set of pipeline. And in this case, you can see here I have like a very simple message, and I have one pipe to post to Slack. I have another pipe that upload to PDF, and has a variable here. So I'm just going to send this, and this will run a pipeline. So here, this is a pipeline. So the first thing it did was it sent a message. The next thing it did was it uploaded a file. And again, this is simple example in this case, but just imagine a case where you want to build a pipeline that sends an email and then maybe sends the respective individuals some tweets, and then do something else, and you could chain all that reaction. So so I think that's the end of the demo, and I'm over time. I want to say thank you to Rick for his feedback on the brainstorming session and all of that. I also want to say thank you to Kamit for the opportunity to actually work on this, because I wouldn't have worked on this if not for the HOP, and I just decided to, let me work on something that is simple and that I will find useful as a developer myself, because I find myself generating code all the time, and there are only a few variant paths. And I also know people, especially people in the legal industry, where there's a new contract, there's just a few parts that needs to be changed, and they could use like this to automate some of that work. And the community of pipes as well is where I don't have to write all the code for say, hey, I want to write something that takes Markdown and then give me back PDF, so I could just use someone from the community has written. So the code is completely open source. It's just there. Anyone can, so it's open source. You'd see the pipes, you'd see everything. It's pretty much open source. And thank you. Thank you everyone for listening. And I think that's it. I'm going to stop sharing.
We all love that. Let's pray. Let's pray slide. Love to hear the passion for this project. That was so awesome. And great that you took advantage of the time you have with Commit to work on this, and collaborated with some people as well. I know we're a bit over time, but maybe you want to give a chance for anyone to ask one question, and otherwise we'll direct them to your project on the platform, but just throwing it out there in case someone has a burning question at this moment.
I have one, maybe just a little technical. All these pipes, are they running as separate servers, or there's just one application listing on different endpoints?
Yeah, that's a good question. So a pipe is pretty much an endpoint that takes a post request and a certain input and output. So you can see here I have different pipes. I have a pipe that just echoes stuff out. This is just used for testing, and this is written in Rust. Like you could write a pipe in anything, even if it's a new language.
Is currently showing the Google Meet screen.
Oh, sorry. You see the screen? Yep. So here are the pipes, and you can see it's written in a combination of languages: Go, Rust, and JavaScript. So the pipe to upload this PDF is just a Go program running on its own ports, right? The pipe to actually post to Slack is a Node.js file, right? That just posts the message to us. The pipe that just echoes stuff out to the console is a Rust, program running. So a pipe is pretty much an endpoint that a post endpoint that accepts a parameter in a certain format and returns that output in a certain format. Pretty much, it could be a cloud function, right? You could a pipe could also be a cloud function.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
And is there like a defined schema for how the pipes need to, like how a request to a pipe needs to be formatted and stuff like that? Or is it basically just like your definition of like how you're going to communicate with the pipes defines the schema that you're going to be sending to it, and then the pipe needs to just conform to that?
Yeah, when you create a pipe, you specify a JSON schema for the input of that pipe. Right. So you can see here. So one of the things I did here was I avoid using any databases for the demo. I just use an in-memory data store. And you can see here when you create a pipe, say you want to create a community pipe, you can define the input to that pipe as a JSON schema. And then that schema can be enforced based on input from another pipe. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
Great demo.
Thanks.
Yeah, maybe a round of applause for both of our demoers today. I know it's never easy to create something to begin with and then also present it in front of a group here. So yeah, and shout out to Rick and Bill and to everyone who helped support these folks too during their demos. That's a big thing as well. But yeah, we're gonna wrap things up today. Thanks so much for coming. Just a quick thing before you go. Again, I'm trying out this new 3-question survey, so it should pop up in your browser after we close down the Zoom. So if you could take a hot second and fill that out, we really do appreciate any feedback you offer and are trying to implement it from the last one. If you don't see anything, just send me a Slack message so I can look into it. But appreciate all of you being here today. Hope to see you at the next demo in a couple weeks. Have a great day, everyone.